Song punches Henry Cejudo in the dong to be victorious at UFC Fight Night Seattle. We're unpacking all the controversy this time on Fighting with Friends. Welcome back to Fighting with Friends, the undisputed African fighting podcast champion of the world. And speaking of champions, I have with me today the reigning, defending, undisputed vegan champion of the world and our chief analyst, that is, of course, Brother Gaia. What's happening, Brother Gaia?
What's up? Let's go.
Also with us today, ladies and gentlemen, the CPS FWF BMF champion of the world, only professional record now 26-0. It's Nazim Al Nino, aka Babu.
Thought Khabib, I'm coming for that record, bro. Thought Khabib, I'm coming for that record.
Absolutely, bro. And it is UFC Fight Night, Cejudo versus Song Yadong. And as always, boys, we start
At the top of the card.
At the top of the card, we saw Song Yadong controversially beat Henry Cejudo here. So like I said, couple of kicks to the dong, eye pokes. There was a lot going on here. And eventually we saw the referee decide that after 3 rounds, it was enough to go to the scorecards because Cejudo was unable to continue. Some believing Cejudo quitting on the stool. Some saying fair play. Some believing Song Yadong should have had a point deducted. So a lot to unpack here, BG. Tell us what you saw here, bro.
Okay, before the controversy happened, I think it was a very entertaining fight. Both guys were going back and forth. I think Song Yadong was playing a very patient game and he boxed really well. Calf kicks were working for him. He even forced Henry to switch stances, which was quite interesting because I thought Henry was just going to be too skillful. But hey, we got to give props to Song Yadong to actually made the fight go in the way that it did, forcing Henry to switch stances. But now this is where it got fun. So when Henry switched his stance, he actually started landing a lot more on Song Yadong. He was boxing a little bit better. He was cleaner with his strikes and made the fight a lot more competitive because he was struggling to get in when he was fighting out of the orthodox stance. Because I remember AD, you and I watched the fight together and you were like, look at Song's face, bro. It's beaten up. Like Henry was landing on him some straight, stiff, right straights, and it was like beautiful to see. And that's how the fight was going for the most part. And I think it was a lot of people saying it was 2-1 going into the third round for Song Yadong. I think we kind of agreed on that, but it was very close. It was very close. It's not like he completely outmatched or outperformed Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo was making it competitive, painting a lot, getting Song Yadong to react in certain ways, very reactive to the takedowns, which just showed you how much Song was training for that fight because he didn't actually get taken down once. And he was boxing really nice. Then when the controversy happened, it was a bit confusing for me because I didn't think that at first glance I was like, maybe just call it a no contest if this man can't continue because it was accidental. It wasn't like it was a forced eye poke. He didn't do it on purpose. So I was thinking maybe just call it a no contest. It benefits both guys. Henry doesn't lose, Song doesn't lose. Fight just gets called off in that way. But then I found out that the rules is that if the fight goes 50% more than what the fight's total time is, then you have to go to judges' scorecards. You have to score up the fight. And this was a 5-round fight. 3 rounds was more than 50% of the fight, which meant that they had to go to scorecards regardless. And in that case, they gave it 2-1 to Song Yadong. But unfortunate, a bit sucky. I don't agree with the point deduction. I don't think it should have. I don't think he got the point deduction either. I know people are saying give him a point deduction to sort of be a bit more strict with the rule set when it comes to this point. But then what happens if it's accidental? Is it still a point deduction? Are you still taking a point from someone for accidentally poking someone in the eye? Because personally, I think it's going to happen indefinitely. It's something that you can't avoid, especially if the gloves are going to be open. Especially if it's MMA, it's going to happen. You know what I mean? So making comparisons to fighters when they box or Muay Thai is not the same thing because that's completely striking only. So it makes sense for the fight to stay like this most of the time. So yeah, I think in a nutshell, at the end of it wasn't. It was funny to see him, but I mean, he deserves the 5 minutes. You know what I mean? So you can't boo or shout at an athlete when that is in the rule set. And even if he is taking time, and even if he is milking it, then don't give the athletes 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like it's a long time. It's a whole round. So personally, I'm like, give the man as much time as they want. No one can say anything until you get poked in the eye to the point where you can't actually see. And whether he was faking it or not doesn't matter, bro. The eye poke did happen. The time was warranted, and that was the result of the fight. So yeah, I don't want the controversy to overrule what we were watching for 3 rounds because it was a competitive fight. I was really enjoying it, and big ups to Song Yadong for standing in there against an absolute legend like Henry because Henry Henry's got the skill set to beat everybody, beat anyone really. I just think at 38 years old, I don't know if he can do it anymore.
Fair play, BG. Fair play.
Brasil!
I'm right here.
Black Java in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Black Java in the house. What's up, Jedi Knight?
That's it.
Yes. We're just
Yeah,
talking
no, I'm
about
good,
songs of your
good.
fight.
Sorry, I'm late, guys.
No worries. But yeah, Babu, we'll go
yeah.
to you. What are your thoughts on how this one played out, bro?
I thought it played out. I thought like coming into the fight that it will be a bit more competitive. I think like watching the fight, I thought Song Yadong had injuries, number all the way. The only success that I did see Henry have is that that attempt grab, come up with a knee or come up with a left, that he was landing. That was very nice. But other than that, I can't think of any success that Henry had. To be quite honest, at the end of the third, before the eye poke, I thought he was just done because that one leg was compromised, like very badly, and he was having a tough time like staying in the orthodox stance because like he's trying to switch the whole time. He's trying to switch, and like it's not his natural fighting stance. And then like I thought Song Yadong, if the fight went on, I thought Song Yadong was going to finish him like at some point because Henry just didn't look like the sharper fighter like in that fight at any point. And I'm happy for the ref because that's how the rules should be like carried out. Like you should know like a fighter gets 5 minutes. If it's after the third, like we should go to the judges' scorecards instead of like calling it a no contest or things like that, because the ref had full composure, explained everything perfectly. Like if you were watching, you understood what was going on. And I agree with BG. Like 5 minutes should be the 5 minutes or any amount of time should be the fighter should get that, because not every fighter is the same with an eye poke. And like we watched one championship on stream and we saw somebody get live eye poke, and it took them about 5 minutes to get their eye sorted. I mean, it's until you get eye poked, you don't know how your body's going to react, and like it's different for everybody. But yeah, it was a deep one, and him saying like I still want to fight, but I can't see out of my left. It's like then just say like yeah, I can't. I'm unable to fight. There's nothing wrong with it. You not everybody's Michael Bisping, bro. Not everybody's built from that cloth. And yeah, unfortunately, you got dealt with basically. And yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
It's very clever. It's very clever for Henry to have done that, Babu. No, to say because if he didn't say those words, they would have called it. They would have made it a loss on his name. It's already a loss on his name, but I mean, it just looks better in his eyes now for his image that he did it that way rather than saying.
Also, a different ref might say like, "Yeah, DQ it, like no contest."
Yes.
Yeah, and then like he gets the automatic victory. So then you like, okay, I'm gonna just skate along. He's not gonna call for Song Yadong a rematch. That's what he's not gonna do.
And he was calling for point deductions twice. So,
yeah, and fair to him, because you do get poked in the eye. You make it known to the ref like, yeah, this is happening. Somebody's grabbing the inside of my glove. Somebody poked me in the eye. Somebody did anything dirty. If the ref might have not
multiple nut shots as well, bro.
How he
leading up to the eye poke. So
there were a few gut shots. Yes.
I can understand the argument for the point deduction. This man was fighting street style, bro.
He also looked like he wanted it out. We can't deny this.
It looks like that. It looked like that, but
midway through the second.
If your eye's compromised, you're not gonna be lamming like this. We saw the other eye poke, bro. The man's eye was like closing, bro.
Yeah,
exactly.
So Cejudo's eyes were wide open, bro.
Yeah,
so I don't,
it was wide open.
We can't say because we obviously didn't experience it from his point of view, but the optics does say that this man quit. I think.
How are you?
It appears to be
Jedi
that
Knight,
way. Yeah.
what are your thoughts,
Yeah.
bro? So we are breaking our parlay this weekend.
Yeah,
Any
what
words
a
for the man?
clown. I'm done with Cejudo now, bro. Done with
Forever.
this guy. I don't understand why. Um, Look, it was still competitive and the Oaks were fighting and whatever. Sad to see the fight stopped like that. I think the eye poke was very deep. You can see the guy's finger is basically gone, bro. The glove is touching the eye. That's how gone his finger is. So it was very deep. And I can understand from Henry's side because I've been eye poked in a soccer match before that blinded me that I couldn't play on. So I get it. I could see he was hurt. I do think he was losing the fight.
Oh,
And yeah, I would have loved to have seen it go all the way. But as for the fight, I think Song Yadong's footwork was superb. His distance control was very good. And he seemed to be having better reads on Henry as Henry was finding it difficult to close the distance on him. So hats off to him. I think Song Yadong, he should be in the conversation now for some of the top guys after this. Henry, I think the division is just too big for him, bro. I think he's not big enough for these odds. That's on my honest opinion. I just think he's not big enough, bro.
I think he did say that, Jed.
Sad.
I think that
in the
segues us nicely into the next part of our conversation, gentlemen. So please give us
Yeah.
your final thoughts on this one and then also the future of these two fighters. Brother
Who do
guy.
you want to talk? Okay. Yeah, just to touch base on what Jed said at the end there with Henry being slightly too undersized for the division. Henry did say that in when he was talking on pound for pound with Kamaru Usman, he did make mention that he's basically thinking of dancing between flyweight and bantamweight. But flyweight may just be the better option for him, to be honest with you. Especially because he was saying he feels that division is a bit quiet and silent in terms of the characters that are in that division. He probably wants to go down there and spice it up a little bit, which I personally feel like if he still wants to continue fighting, go down to the flyweight division. Don't stay in this division because Jed's right. They are a bit bigger and faster and stronger and younger. They're just everything that he was. That's what they are now. Some of them are actually better. So for Henry, I think just go fight flyweight, bro. Just go fight in the flyweight division. I think he can make it very fun to fight against any one of those guys in that top 15 or top 10. Song Yadong on the other hand, he maintains his status in that top 8 as you see on screen over there. He's obviously going to go, for me personally, above Henry and Marlon Chitavera because he beat Marlon Chitavera as well. His last fight, he lost to Cody Sandhagen. So personally, I think he should stay in the top 5. Maybe give him Figueiredo next. That would be an absolute banger to watch. And I think to be fair, Figgy came off a loss against Peter Yan. So yeah, I think I'll fight Song Yadong next. That's the best fight for that fight.
I do agree.
Bro, why is Sean O'Malley above Peter Yan, bro? I don't understand this craziness.
Champion.
Fair point.
The
Former
rankings
champion.
just doesn't make any sense sometimes.
It's a good
Yeah.
question.
That's a fair point, yeah. Baba?
I was thinking Rob Font, Sonya Dong, because they both came with victories. But Rob Font looked good in me, like we'll touch on it later. And he's just below. And I do think Henry should fall out of that division. And Jose Aldo should fall out of that division because like they legends, but away it's not like you and I can't see even if I look at it and the top 5 of the bantamweight is not for Henry Cejudo. I think everybody gets a finish on him. Whereas if I look at the flyweight, it's more suited for him.
Yeah.
Like I think he could have a bit of tricks there for the top 5 there. But in terms of bantamweight top 5, like it's not for him, bro. I would rather like him be in the flyweight top 5. Like that would be a bit more
It makes
exciting
sense,
to me.
man. Yeah.
And then I think Rob Font, Sonya Dong, or I think Sonya Dong deserves like a opponent either above him, and I think like probably something title contender ish. I would say he's like 2 away from a title shot potentially.
Yeah, 2-1 away. I mean, like I said, he
Mm.
fought against Cody Sandhagen, and that was number one contenders matchup, and then he lost it, and then he had to go back down the ladder again. So I think he's right up there, bro. Literally 1 or 2 fights away, like you mentioned.
There are a few fights that you can make for him. Like you said, the Davison
Mm.
fight is there, the Uma fight is there, the O'Malley fight is there. So any
Yes.
one of those, bro, he hasn't fought
Yeah.
either of those guys.
I'm
So
not
there's
too
a lot
sure
on
about
offer for him there.
I'm not too sure about Rob Font. That's below him, and it doesn't make any sense for his career. It doesn't. You beat
One
Rob
below
Font, you
him
don't.
though.
Yeah, but that's my geluk, man. Rob Font doesn't deserve that. If he beat Rob Font, it doesn't make his career go any higher. He doesn't go further than that. You know what I mean? It doesn't make him go. Oh, give me a title contendership now after beating Rob Font. Are you serious? Not Rob Font,
But
bro.
I think like if he beats Rob Font, you could get like Peter Yan, Sean O'Malley. I would look
You
at
can
top
already
3.
get them.
I
You can
don't know
already
yet.
get them.
I wouldn't give Sean O'Malley or Peter Yan Sonia Dong now. I think
I
like
would.
okay, now fight one more
I
before you
think
fight.
Sean O'Malley, bro. Sean O'Malley's
Yeah,
cracked,
literally.
and he's
Even
been and he's
even
been
Sandhagen.
on the Dana White fund for a long time now.
Yeah, yeah.
See him off the
Uh,
protection fund.
Rob Font doesn't give you a path to the title, unfortunately. He
Yeah,
doesn't. You
nah.
don't get there by beating him. So that's why I say it doesn't make any sense for him in his career.
Yeah, I do agree. So lots to discuss here, boys. But yeah, we are on a bit of a time budget, and we are 300 pounds. So I'm gonna keep it moving. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, let us know in the comments your thoughts on that fight and what you think the future for Song Yadong and Henry Cejudo looks like. But okay, boys, we're gonna keep it moving now. Now we skate to a middleweight bout where we saw Brendan Allen come up against Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Fluffy Hernandez, as many predicted, out dogging Brendan Allen. It was a good fight. It was back and forth. There were reversals in the grappling, but like I said, I think coming into the fight, everyone just believed that Anthony Hernandez had more of that so-called dog in him. He really did show it, I think, on the night. So, Babu, we'll go to you first on this one, bro. What can you tell us here?
proper performance from Anthony Hernandez. I thought he would get the finish. But I think like a good performance, solid performance. Brendan Allen looked game in that first round, and then yeah, his game sort of just slowed down a little bit. Anthony Hernandez put on a good performance. Um, and yeah, I think like it was just down to who wanted it more, and Anthony Hernandez definitely wanted it more, and you could see it and the determination through him. I do think it was a fight that he gained a lot from in terms of like just cardio and picking your shots and things like that. You couldn't just go a reckless abandonment in like the third. So I think like he gained a lot from this, and I think it's a good fight to have if you're making a run at the title.
Mm, mm.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at the stats there, the significant strikes, not too much output, but doesn't really tell the story of the fight. I mean, it was basically a wrestling match, and think the key stat there is the 4 of 8 takedowns that Anthony
Yeah.
Hernandez landed. Yeah, so BG, I'll go to you. Anthony Hernandez obviously controlling the fight there, but from a more technical standpoint, what can you tell us, bro?
I mean, you summed it up in a nice way by saying that the strikes don't really tell the story of the fight. I mean, because they were predominantly wrestling, and it was really competitive, guys. Let's be honest; these guys were going back and forth. I'm just looking at the reversal stats, and Brendan Allen reversed Anthony 3 times. Anthony reversed him twice. This kind of gives you an idea of how these oaks were rolling back and forth, and I really like fights like that. I really enjoy watching the athletes go at each other in that manner. And I have to give props to Brendan Allen firstly, because I did think Anthony was going to go in there and completely smoke his ass. But Brendan Allen made it competitive. Let's just get honest there. He was closer to the submission attempts than Anthony was. But Anthony pulled out of it really nicely. And like we all said, that Anthony, because he's got this dog eat dog kind of a mentality, he wasn't going to rest on his laurels and just let Allen do what he does. Because you could see there was moments when Allen was just like, can this man just stop, bro? Like, just like relax. And Anthony was just not giving him a chance. Anthony's like a freaking worm. The way he wraps himself with that amount of how big his limbs are, he was a worm in Allen the whole fight. And he didn't even. One thing I will give the one thing I will put a little asterisk on Anthony's name for the fight was if he actually went to ground and pound a little bit more, probably would have gotten the finish rather than trying to get submissions. Because both, just like Anthony Hernandez, Allen was also very good at submission defense. He was avoiding a lot of the submissions. Every time Anthony would grab a neck, Allen would just get out of it, and vice versa. Every time Allen would grab a neck, Anthony would just get out of it very easily, which made the fight very much back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But I do think that the output in terms of the takedowns that Anthony was landing was what got him the fight. I think that he landed more damage when they did get to the ground because he did throw some good elbows in there, as opposed to, I think it was only round one where Allen actually got offensive wrestling on and ground and pound off it. After that, he never really did any ground and pound, which I did feel that when he did reverse Anthony, in those moments, he went for submissions, which didn't work. And I felt that when he did reverse Anthony, if he had to maybe just throw some elbows, some hard ground and pound, he probably would have won more rounds. He probably would have had more rounds in his favor and would have gone to a bit of a split decision rather than a unanimous for Anthony. Would have made the fight a bit more tricky for the judges to judge. But I just felt in those moments is where he lost the fight. It's those moments where Anthony, because he gave Anthony opportunities to come back into the fight. When he didn't get the submission and didn't land, Anthony reversed him, and he gave Anthony the chance to come back in those rounds, and then won those rounds. And I think that's where he went wrong. So in a nutshell, using the term he outdogged him was the best way to describe it because that's what we watched. We watched Anthony outdog Allen again. So big ups, and Babu, I agree with you there. Beating someone like Brendan Allen does catapult Anthony Hernandez bigger. He jumps a bit higher than just being in number 12 because Arnold, because Brendan Allen was considered to be someone that was going to have title contention. He fought Imavov before this, which tells you that the UFC was on a 7-fight winning streak. They wanted to put him in that position to fight for top 5 contendership. Anthony Hernandez is now also 7-fight winning streak after this fight. So I also personally feel like he should be getting someone a little higher than just number 9 or number 8 in this division. So big up.
Also, I'm happy it went to decision because he's been getting like a back-to-back finishes in the last couple of fights. So like this one going to decision shows like, oh, okay, you don't get gassed in the third. You don't get like you're not a boring fighter. We can risk to put you in a main event. We can put you with the top guy. Like it's not gonna hurt us. Where I feel like a lot of guys get placed on the main card or in the main event. We look at it, come the fifth round, we like, yo, this fight could be wrapped up already. So I think this is a good decision for him.
Do agree. All right, boys, let's move then to the middleweight division where Dricus du Plessis is the champion. And we'll talk about what's next for these two fighters. Jeda, are you with us?
Yeah.
What do you want to see next for Anthony Hernandez, bro?
Well, he just put Brandon Allen, right?
Yeah.
Probably that fighter nerd. The fighter nerd.
Caio Baralho.
I'm not.
Massive pull out. Are you nuts?
Yeah.
If he gets a victory.
He's still fighting.
But if Vittori wins his next fight, he is fighting.
Who's he fighting?
I'll tell you now, he's fighting the next card, the card after that one, I think.
I think he fights Roman.
Yes. Babu's right. It's very soon. It's coming up soon. Roman is ranked 8th, I think, or something like that.
Oh, easy. Yeah. Okay. 10. Okay, that's a fair fight. So then
they fighting 16th of March. They fighting Roman and Vittori.
So Bobby, for you, Fluffy, what do you want to see next for this month?
Cannonier, but Cannonier. They both fought similar times.
Cannonier is not all the tough fights, baby.
Cannonier said in his post fight, like he doesn't know what's happening next. Is he the gatekeeper of the top 5? He kind of deems himself in that way because he's lost against everybody that's currently title contenders. So if you want to be a title or in that, like I think Whittaker, Adesanya, like they like proper guarantee you like a title shot. But I think if you want to get to that fight, you have to go through Cannonier. And I think they both fought similar. I think Cannonier fought like a week or 2 ago. Fluffy just fought. Book them for like end of the year. See if they both accept it. If Cannonier's game, I think he would be. because he can't really fight up because he's got mopped already by everybody on top of him. So yeah, I think Cannonier is the good answer. Otherwise, the winner of Vittori, the Litsai. But if the Litsai wins, I don't really want to see two contenders fight each other so early, because then we only see one contender really challenge that top 5 move. We've seen title shots already, so we don't want to see them again. So I think like take the Litsai and Andres and then try to get them into that top 5 so we can phase out like the older guys.
Yeah, I think Carl's got to fight up now, unless you're gonna make it Carl and Anders for a title eliminator. You know what I mean? That's the only way I see it. But PG, what do you think, bro?
No, Eddie, you get the money there for me, my friend. That makes a lot of sense. Because I don't know if anyone below Kyle Barello can actually challenge him at this point. He's done enough for me to say he can call out someone like Whittaker or Strickland, literally, because he's done that much to do that. So I don't want to put Kyle Barello's name in the hat for that one. I think Anthony Hernandez should definitely fight the winner between Vittoria and Delitse. I hear what Babu's saying about putting two contenders up there, but personally, I don't think Romo Delitse is a top 5 contender in this division. I don't think he has enough for it. So Anthony Hernandez should definitely bypass him and go straight to Jared Cannonier or Vittoria. I think Vittoria is probably going to beat Delitse for the second time, and then Anthony Hernandez can get either Vittoria or Cannonier next. Not Baralio just yet.
But boys, we don't want to see Dricus against Strickland. We don't want to see Dricus against Adesanya. We don't want to see Dricus against Whittaker. So like but they in the top 5. We can't have them like chilling in the top 5 the whole time. If one of them wins again, then they're gonna say like, "Hey, look at my ranking. I want to go fight for the title."
But
like,
the thing is, but the same thing applies to basically all the combat sports. Even in boxing, we see the same fighters go up against each other. It's not their fault if they're knocking out contenders that easily. It's like they have, and Anthony have to prove themselves. Is what I'm saying. You can't just jump the Oaks. And if they lose to Whittaker, and what if you put Anthony Hernandez up against Whittaker now, for example, his next fight, and he loses that fight, then there goes that whole thing of like, here's a contender. He has to go and restart again. You know what I'm saying? And just like what happened in the featherweight division.
Safeguard is like the Litsai against somebody else. Maybe the Litsai against Adesanya, where if one of them, if Hernandez or the Litsai can get a victory, we don't know. I didn't think Imam don't deserve number 1 ranking. But if they get the lucky stroke of the night,
No.
I want to see you against the
Askat, you must do the matchmaking for JFL, bro.
I'm here, bro. I want to see you fight.
Askat, you must do this.
Yes.
That's funny. I don't know, Babu. I hear what you're saying. The game plan does make sense if you want to do it that way. But I just got the feeling, if based on the careers watching these guys, what's his name? Delitse is not that guy to go up there and challenge those top 5 lads. He's not that
guy, bro.
Umar, he is. He will move Delitse pretty easily.
He's not number 1 in the division.
Not yet. I mean, he's got the ranking.
He's a ranking, but he's not there.
He beat Easy. He knocked him out.
But it wasn't like a Moorse knockout. There is an asterisk next to it. Like the man wiped his eye and then got put away.
I don't know, Babu. I don't know about that.
He was getting pieced up in the first round.
I don't know. He beat also
Strickland. Like, hey, are you
number 1? Yeah, I also don't think he deserves number 1. That makes full sense. It's like a show no everything.
I would put
you guys are just haters, bro.
Yeah.
You guys are just haters.
Say it, 80.
What more do you want them to do, bro? I thought
Adesanya.
What more do you want?
It wasn't even like
number 1.
It was a Pereira knockout.
Beat Sean Strickland also. Nah, he lost to Sean Strickland.
Lost to Sean, but he beat
exactly.
He should be like
Cannonier.
He should be number 3, like around there.
Khamzat shouldn't be in it. Yes, Khamzat shouldn't be in there. He shouldn't even have a ranking next to his name, dealers.
Nah,
no,
he's doing
he shouldn't.
He broke Whittaker's jaw.
Nah, Babu.
That to me is like, okay.
Khamzat only had 2 fights in middleweight, bro. He only had 2 fights in middleweight.
I don't disagree. Like, but it's more realistic to put him at number 1 than for Imam to be number 1. That to me makes sense.
No, bro. How? How? If you fighting in the middleweight division and you're on a 7-fight winning streak, and I come to the middleweight, I have 1 fight and I jump over you, you're not going to be happy about it, my friend. You're going to be like, get this man out of here. Why is he in the rankings?
Yeah, but you got like a kind of knockout. Yeah,
No,
I
no.
broke somebody's jaw.
No, what I'm saying is you are the Imavov situation with a 7-fight win streak. I'm the one that
I
comes
mean,
in with 1 fight and I break this man's jaw and I'm the one above you. Nah, man, let me fight you then. Let
that's,
me get you for that
I mean,
ranking.
I
You know what
don't
I'm
think
saying?
you want that fight, man. I don't think Imavov wants the Chimaev fight. I don't think in any sort of way he would sign up. I think
would.
he's gonna negate that
If
because
Imavov had to beat Khamzat, he guarantees Drikkers instead of Khamzat. You know what I'm saying?
true, but I don't think Imavov wants that fight.
Any fighter should want that fight because Khamzat is the cash cow. You should want to fight him.
Yeah, but it's a bit like who you if you look at that like my top 10, like you would pick out the weaker fighters of Brendan Allen, Jared Cannonier, Marvin Vittori, probably
Mhm.
Malov, and then Strickland, and then you would look at Whitaker, Adesanya, like they would give you a bit more trouble than what the other people like that I've stated
Mhm.
before would give you. So like when you look at that, that should be like how your ranking should be. Like who's gonna give you the worst fight? And
Mhm.
Nasruddin Imavov against Chimaev, like Chimaev's gonna be clear favorite because he's gonna scoop that man and then he's gonna smash him. Whereas
Mm.
if Chimaev was number one, I would be like, who can I see go against him? It's gonna be a lot of fighters that I would be like, I don't think they get the job done really.
I don't know. I think Imavov is an
Like
underrated fighter, to be honest with you.
easy Chimaev. I know Chimaev's gonna scoop that man and smash him. Like I don't even need to see that fight.
I don't know. I don't know. I think we're giving too much props to Khamzat because of what he's done in the smaller divisions. And Imavov needs to get a bit more respect, in my opinion.
Fair play,
Probably.
boys. Sorry, Babu. Anything else?
Nah, I might just be like I'm an easy fan, so I might just have like a sour taste in my mouth from that fight.
That's
I
Easy's
think
own
that
fault for
should be a
saying,
rematch.
I think Easy made a mistake by saying, let me fight. He should have taken the time, but it was his own thing that he did that.
Facts.
Not Imavov's fault that he said, I'm ready to fight. That's his own thing that said that.
Fair play, boys. Love the discussion here. Obviously, lots to talk about, but ladies and gentlemen, as always, let us know in the comments your thoughts on what the boys have just discussed here. Yeah, I do love the debate though. But anyway, boys, we are going to keep it moving to a catchweight bout, and here we saw Rob Font commit the robbery on my boy
Yeah.
Jean Matsumoto. This one for me was pretty blatant, to be honest with you. I think Matsumoto winning rounds 1 and 2. Could argue Rob Font for the third, but still very close. And I just don't see how they scored this round, how they scored this fight with Rob Font. Maybe damage, but then by that logic, I think Cejudo should have won the fight against Song Yadong. If that's how you're
Yeah.
scoring a fight. Look at his face and look at Cejudo's face. But Jada, did you see this one, bro?
No, I didn't see it, but I caught up with it afterwards. Yeah, I agree with you. It's a bit weird on how they scored it and stuff. I mean, Rob Font did come out really strong in the third round, but as you say, the control was already done in the 1 and 2. And then if you go in on damage, which a lot of referees do, I think they go on based on who was the closest to finishing the fight and who did the most damage, and then like who was controlling the fight. So yeah, it's a weird one. It's a very weird one. But hats off to Rob Font and the team. And I think Matsumoto is definitely going to be a guy that's going to be difficult to deal with later
Yeah.
down the line.
I can see that.
Fair play, Jedi Naito. We'll go to BG. Your thoughts, please.
I'm gonna say no hats off to Rob Font at all. Keep the hats on, don't take them off, because this dude was blatantly a robbery. Get this man out to be a first year fighting in catchweight as
It's
well.
not just like you say, it's the fighter's job, this, that. It's not Rob's fault that it was a robbery, bro.
It's
He's
not
Yes, I
Rob's
know.
fault.
He's not scoring the cards.
But still, man, fuck them. The reality of this fight was, AD, go back. AD, can you bring the stats back on the screen, please? I just want to show
He's
this.
not.
Bring the
He's
stats
not
back on
putting
back.
in the score, bro.
So they were equivalent on total strikes thrown, 113 to 113. That drop one was 9% cleaner. That was a lot of it was the jabs. Matsumoto threw 7 landed out of 10 takedowns. 2 in round 1, 5 in round 2. How the fuck did they score round 1 and 2?
Yeah.
How did they give one of
that's
those
mad.
rounds to Rob Font? Please explain that. Then the total amount of strikes that were actually significant. All right, Rob Font ran 34, Matsumoto had 29. The damage came from a freaking headbutt in the third round. A headbutt. It wasn't anything. Oh no, lie. It was an elbow. It was an elbow that he landed, which was quite clean, very beautiful elbow. But it didn't make Matsumoto. It didn't rock him at all. He continued to press forward through the elbow, through a right hand of his own, and landed a low kick. He was landing beautiful combos and ended the combos off with nice leg kicks. I would give Rob Font round 3 and round 3 only. That was the only round where he actually made Matsumoto go backwards and landed on him, pieced him up. Good jabs, good uppercuts. Made the fight very ugly in round 3. But the other 10 minutes of that fight was completely Matsumoto's. So I was very surprised that they gave the scorecards like that. So that's why I'm going completely robbery. But Rob Font, every time I give Matsov is because of his sportsmanship after the fight. Going to Matsumoto and being like, nah, this dude is a fucking killer. You a dog. Big ups to you, the future of the division. But I give him respect for that. But I think everyone knows that was a robbery.
Indeed, agree there, PG. But was it Rob's font, ladies and gentlemen? Let us know in the comments. Pablo, from your side, please, sir.
When because I watched the fight live and then I watched like highlights back of the fight, and when you watch the highlights back, Rob Font had better like moments in the fight. I think when I watch the fight,
Can't believe the highlights, bro.
But when I watch a fight incomplete, I also thought like Matsumoto should have got it. But then like when I watch the highlights back, I'm like, oh, Rob Font did have
highlights are biased, my
like
friend.
better moments that stood out across the fight, and none of the fighters
got
to finish.
I don't believe it.
And none of the fighters got to finish, which means it goes to the judges, and judges are looking at it like, oh yeah, like you remember moments of the fight because you're not going to remember the small exchanges on the feet. You're going to remember like, oh, a big overhand landed. Oh, yeah, that takedown landed. He was kind of going for a guillotine, but then Rob Font pumped out. Like that is small moments, and I think like if you look at the moments, Rob Font had more moments in this fight. But I think I do agree with the boys that Matsumoto should have won the fight when you watch a fight in completion. Like
you can't believe the highlight packages. They're meant to be highlights. They're meant to sell you the idea. So I won't buy it for a second, my friend. The highlight package was based for Rob Font because he's the victor. But in totality, he didn't actually have that many moments. He was backed up for 10 minutes of the 15 minutes. That's more than 70% of the fight was him not actually doing anything. So yeah, it's not fair. It wasn't fair. And Babu, the judges, you're right in saying they mainly remember what happened last. But professionally, you're supposed to remember everything because you're not judging the fight like in one championship the whole 15 minutes. When the round ends, you make an assessment on that round. And then when you move to the next round, you forget about round 1 because you already made that assessment. You really locked in your statistics and numbers down. Now you go for second round. Right? You can't judge it just based on the moment that you remember last or the biggest moment you remember in the fight where it was a 15-minute fight. You know what I'm saying?
BG, but I'm also like, I'm just accustomed to like not good judging in UFC. Like it's UFC. I'm not watching this like, yo, I'm gonna get like the proper decision out of this, bro. Bro, it's like, hey, who looked liquor tonight? Yeah, man, look just
bullshit.
I've
must
seen
be a judge
the robberies on UFC.
I'm gonna apply for a judge.
I don't think you
need
to
apply to be a judge there.
Look, boys, I can definitely appreciate both sides of the argument there. But yeah, the thing is, if you're going to make it down to those moments, then again, by that logic, Cejudo should have won the fight against Song because based on the damage that he did to Song Yadong's face and the way he looked, You know what I'm saying? So it's just inconsistency there. 'Cause
Yeah, I agree.
I think all we want as fight fans is just consistency, bro. If
Yes.
that's how it is, then let that be how it is. But don't change the metrics all the time.
There we go.
No way.
There we go.
There we go. Any
Spot on.
final thoughts here, boys? Any final thoughts for Rob Font? I think we mentioned him earlier in the show. He is riding down here somewhere in the
What about him?
on his future. Does he fight
For
Song
fun.
Yadong next time because he won this controversial? We spoke about it kind of already.
Mm.
Anybody got anything for Rob Font? Any work for Rob Font, guys?
Yeah,
Job
for me,
Rob Font. Yeah.
I would like to see maybe Font and Marlon Vera or Font
Yeah.
and maybe even Font and Cejudo, bro. But I know he's like, I want the winner of main event. But to be honest with you, I would like to see Cejudo, as Ross said, with either Davidson Figueiredo or Sean O'Malley. And I would like to see Font against Marlon Vera.
Yeah, I think that's a good fight. I would agree.
Yeah.
So
Boys,
Judo must fall out of the division.
Yeah,
He's
you must
gotta
take him
go
out.
down. Bro. He's not big enough for this. He just isn't. You know what I mean? He's too small. Davidson, fortunately for him, has made a good transition into the bantamweight. Partly because he's tall, bro. He's much taller than Judo, so he's carrying the weight easier, and he's kind of holding his own. But nah,
strong.
Henry's, I think he's got a. Henry's also cut strong, but he's not. He's just not the size, bro. He just doesn't have the size. So yeah, he's got to fall out for me.
Okay, boys. Anybody got final thoughts before we keep moving to our man Jay Silva?
My last thing I want to say on that fight is Matsumoto also took the fight on 2 weeks' notice, so there was no camp for it, and you can see he's not actually a bantamweight. He's a lot heavier than that. I think he's a lightweight to begin with. That's why the fight was made at catchweight. So they put in a performance like that, 25 years old, short week, 2 week notice against an upfront who's considerably been a household name in the UFC. Come on, we have to give props to that performance. I don't really want to do a matchmaking fight with upfront because I do think he's kind of washed. So yeah, let's move.
Okay, fair play, fair play. All right, boys. Then we're gonna keep moving to the featherweight division, and here we did see Jay
Yeah, I think-
Silva defeat. Hey, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I think Chito Vera and Font is a good fight. It's a fun
do
fight
agree.
for the fans.
It would be a fun fight.
Depending on the Vera that comes out.
Drop a comment there, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know. But okay, to the featherweight division we go. Jay Silva knocking out Malsik Baghdasaryan. In the first round. And yeah, the man came out, entertained the crowd. He was fired up. We thought he might be a bit too emotional, but once he got in there, he was just completely locked in. He was patient, cerebral, and eventually getting a knockout. BG, tell them what you saw, bro.
Yeah, I'm a Jean Silva fan. I'm hyped fighting. He's taking over the UFC for sure. The athletes are looking like fan favorites already. Along with like Mauricio Ruf is one of them. So Jean Silva literally cried about 3 times before the fight even started. Just how emotional he was, just kind of a fireball what this character he really is. And I mean, look at him. He's getting behind the fans for sure. The fans are getting behind him because of that character that he is. But also to add to it is that his performances make sense. I mean, why he's this kind of athlete. He 4 finishes, 4 fights in the UFC, all by knockout. Just a powerful guy. Look, it's very early in the featherweight division, but seeing him fight like that just makes me gutted that Pure is not a champion anymore. Because I would love to see him fight against someone like him. And also I like his character. You easily have gone in there and added on damage to his opponent in Mills, but he didn't. Oh, he did, but he did it reluctantly. He was even looking at the ref saying, "Do you really want me to hit this guy? Like, look at him laying almost out cold. Like, why must I still hit him?" And then he said, "Okay, fine, let me just do it," and just went to town with the elbows. And even those selections that he did when he was on the ground was something to see. I'm excited. I'm a Silva fan, man. I want to talk more about it, but it wasn't long enough for me to say anything. He didn't. Nothing happened in terms of Milsic. He didn't do anything to make John Silva feel threatened. John Silva was just poised, composed. He was patient about that shot. He was working him up to get that 1-2 and landed it very beautifully. I want to see him fight again, and I want to see him fight very soon, so I can go more on his character, other than just being a knockout kind of specialist. But if he fights anything like that, and he can do it for more than 3 rounds, oh, he's gonna be a champion.
Agreed, definitely. Babu?
Oh, moerse KO. I also thought like he shouldn't have gone down. I thought like, yeah, that man's done, bro. He looked at the ref. He was like, hey, what do you want me to do here? But yeah, I do like him. Like BG said, his character gives psychotic vibes, but fun, but fun, but fun. CJ, man's crying and cack, and then KO the man. Cool. But yeah, I'm a big fan. Excited to see more of him. After his Drew Dober fight, I was like excited about him, and then now to see this performance back it up, I am interested to see like I want to see him in a 5 rounder. I would like to see him like climb the ranks decently and see him up there in that top 5.
So yeah, Jedi, you see this one?
Hey, yeah, I did watch this actually. Yeah, very exciting. What was mad about it was, like in the start before the walkouts come, then they say next fight, then they have like all the highlights of them punching in that, right? The one guy like showing all those fluid moves and whatever, and then Gene Silva is just throwing this overhand.
Yeah. Yeah.
These heavy shots, and then like the most awkward kick, and I was like, "Shit, bro, this man is like stuff like a plank, bro. He hardly moves." But now you can see this dude is a serious fighter, power and lots of boxing, great distance control, great power. It looks like it's gonna be something to deal with, but we don't know how he's on the ground. But for now, powerhouse, and I'm excited to see him later.
So talking about later, Jedi, I'll stay with you. What do you want to see next for him? Does he get a ranked opponent, or would you like to see him fight another unranked opponent before?
Bro,
Call
I
out
would
Bryce
like.
Mitchell, I think.
He
Yeah,
called
he
out
did.
Bryce Mitchell. That's fun. Yeah, that's good enough for me. Eh? Bryce
Right.
Mitchell would be later. Or this dude Zalil that runs away so much.
I don't know
He's
if they
doing
want to put
Foko. He's
balls
not
up.
taking that car.
Yeah. No.
I don't know about that. I think that Bryce Mitchell fight is fine for me, bro.
Yeah, that's
Maybe even
that's a
Dan
fun.
Ige.
Even Dan Ige. I said to Nish when we watched it together in the area, I said, oh, that would be a nice fight to watch. Dan
Yeah.
Ige and Lord Silva. Be mad.
There we go. Any other thoughts here, boys, before we go to the heavies?
Quick question. Like, did Calvin Keita fall from number 4
No.
to number 14?
Out to number 10.
Oh.
Number 10.
I don't think so, nah. That would have been, they hate that man if they make him fall down the ranking. But okay, boys, and we'll go to the light heavies. We did see Alonzo Menifield defeat Julius Walker, no relation to Johnny and Walter. This one winning fight of the night. I didn't personally think so. It was alright. It was entertaining, but with such big oaks, I do want to see a finish. So, not too impressed here for me. PG.
Yeah.
Your thoughts,
Yeah.
please.
I think they gave it fight of the night just because they were slugging it out. They were swinging at each other quite often, and Julius Walker made the fight entertaining. Because Alonzo Menifield, I'm not the biggest fan, man. He's a bit boring to watch. But because Julius was up in his face every moment of the fight. I mean, 1 of 9 takedowns. A lot of the times they were clinching up against the cage. And then that's what Julius was doing his best work. He was throwing a lot of strikes in the clinch. And he forced Menifield to fight him. And I think that's probably why they made it fight of the night, just because Menifield had to go forward and do something about it. And he was landing a lot of hard, heavy hits on on Julius, especially in the third round. He was really landing on Julius. But at that point, Julius was too tired to even do anything. But big ups to Julius for having the conditioning to actually not get knocked out. Like I said, Alonso landed clean on him. But the fight wasn't that entertaining. There were other fights on the night. I think they could have given fight of the night. I think because this fight went to the distance, that's probably why they made it fight tonight, because it went for 3 rounds and it was competitive for those 3 rounds. No one got finished within the first 40 seconds of round 1. But okay, big ups for Alonso to get the victory. He had to fight because I think he lost the first round and he had to go in there into round 2 and 3 to really figure it out and get the win. And he did just enough to get that for me. But not enough for me to go on and say I'm excited to watch these guys fight again next. Put it
Fair
there.
play, BG. Babu?
Cool fight, I guess. Yeah, share your sentiment. Yeah, like I either want to see a finish or show me something that I haven't seen before. And yeah, none of these fighters showed me anything that I've seen before. Unranked guys, I can see why. If you get a ranked opponent, you're probably not making it out of the first.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna get worked. Yeah, just cool fight, I guess. Cool card starter.
Yeah, look, Alonso is, I think, ranked at number 15. So winning here, he does kind of open himself up to possible other ranked fighters, I imagine. Jedi Knight from you, bro. Did you see this one firstly? And any thoughts on what happens next for Alonso Minefield?
No, I didn't catch it. I only saw the last round. Sorry. Sorry. I only saw the last round, and yeah, it looked like it was kind of fun. The Mansfield, whatever his name is, he looked like he was done, bro. Man was so tired in that last round. So when I saw him win, I was like, "Yo, this is weird." But yeah, I didn't watch much of it, to be honest with you. So I don't really know about him.
Fair. No worries, Jedi Knight BG. Any thoughts on the future of Alonso Menifield here?
Yeah, fight Lionheart Smith, the guy right in front of you. Especially
Isn't
because
he
Lionheart Smith,
retired?
I think he has.
no,
He either retired or he has a retirement fight coming up already.
there you go.
Oh.
Go retire Anthony Smith. That's gonna be a good
He already
knockout.
has a fight, I think. If he's not retired yet, then he does have a fight
Yep.
already. I'm not sure what his buzz is.
Then I think Alonso can maybe fight against.
Johnny Walker.
I don't know about that. Who? The Australian boy that fought last week. Last week. Yeah, last week. What was his name? Just
Anthony
Leo
Smith has a
Rampage
fight.
Jr. Hey, sorry, Babu.
Anthony Smith does have a fight against
Dominic
I think
Reyes.
it is Zhang Miyang.
Oh yes.
And then for Menifield, give him Jimmy Crute, because I think Jimmy Crute came off of
There's his
victory
name.
and
There we go.
should
Fight Jimmy
be
Cruz.
in the rankings.
There you go.
Yes, that's the name. I was looking for that name. Thanks, Babu. That was, and they fought
Yeah.
already. So let them go
Yeah.
at each other.
Okay, there we go. Settled. All right, boys. Any other fights you want to give shout outs to on the card here? Start with BG.
Shout out to Paige Van Zandt, bro.
Paige
What
Van
BG?
Zandt. Who's
Austin Vanderford. That's what Babu's referring
No,
to.
Vanderford.
Go down. You went past it. It's the third fight.
Oh,
for the
yes,
under
card.
the Ricky Simmons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I didn't
what
watch
do you
this
want
one.
to say about this one?
Yeah, what's up?
Oh
with
no,
this one?
just good performance. Came over from Bellator along with the other guys. I think it's him, Mauricio, and Aaron Pico, if I'm not mistaken. That all made the jump now. And yeah, good performance. Solid output. Got the finish. Nikolov, I think he got fired on the night for bad sportsmanship. Yeah. No cack, but man got dominated. And then like the end sequence is Vandervoort double legs him, smashes him. Ref calls it off. Vandervoort is celebrating. Nikolov comes out of nowhere, pushes Vandervoort like, why is the fight not getting on?
Oh,
Like he
no.
just didn't get smashed. And he wasn't like
Okay,
unconscious. He was conscious, bruh. And
Oh.
they
Maybe he was
smashes one.
concussed, bro.
Oh,
Probably. But then I saw Twitter was like saying like, yay, like this is bad sportsmanship. It's not a good look.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, Mr. Page Van Zandt has eyes on him because he's Mr. Page Van Zandt, CJ. And then, like, good performance, gets it done. I don't think there's a title contender in there, but maybe some fun matchups.
Fair. Anything else, boys? Babu, anything else from you?
Nah, tell me about the Ricky Simmons. How was that?
Ricky Simone.
Tell us about
Yeah.
Ricky Simon.
Beautiful knockout from Ricky Simone. And he fought against someone that's not easy fight. I mean, Javad Basharat is a skillful opponent to fuck up against. Good wrestling, good striking, and Ricky just went in there and I was like, never mind your good striking or wrestling. I'm gonna stay in your face, keep it short, keep short strikes, stay in the void. Ricky loves to fight in the void. We know if you watch his fights in the past, he either gets finished or he's finishing you. He loves that kind of fire fight. So yeah, Ricky Simone, I think deserved. I would have given him probably knockout instead of performance of the night. I'll give him knockout of the night. But yeah, that I woke up just in time to catch that knockout. So beautiful stuff.
Alrighty, boys. Thank you very much. I'm gonna go now to final thoughts and the score from the card, please, boys. I'll go to Babu and then BG, please.
Main card was kind of solid, I guess. Besides the 2 decisions or 3 decisions. From what I hear, the whole undercard was finishes. I only watched main card. Main card at school. 5. Shout out to John Silva, MVP for me. And Fluffy.
Hello.
Otherwise, I would have gone 3, but shout out John Silva and Fluffy for bringing that score up.
The ratings were. Okay, brother Gaia, from your side, please.
I would go a lot higher than that. I would go as far as to say 8, just because there was a lot of finishes on the card and great finishes, by the way. I thought all the Oaks who got their finishes did really well and they were in firefights. And then
BG, are you talking about the whole card or just the main card?
No, but that was the question. Was the whole card? The question wasn't just the main card. The question was what's the take on the fight card. So I would say in total totality of the entire fight card, I would say a solid 8. The only thing that brings it down was the robbery of Rob Font and Matsumoto and the eye poke from Cejudo and Song Yadong. But other than that, all the fights were highly entertaining, and I'm quite impressed with the finish rate on a UFC card that doesn't really have such a high finish rate most of the time. So yeah, I'll give them 8 for that.
Yeah, fair play. I also would have given it an 8, but I thought the main event, because it did end with prematurely, and on that note, I'm going to take a point like they should have done to Song Yadong, in my opinion. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let us know in the comments your thoughts on that one. As always, if you have made it this far, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We have once again officially broken 1,000, and we are well on the road to 2,000. Be very grateful if you could help us make that happen. But ladies and gentlemen, from myself, BGBB, Jedi Knight, and all of us here at Fighting with Friends, have a good week. Goodbye, everyone.